I'm here at the REC with Chief Executive Kevin Green to talk about the UK labour market. Kevin, with recent job figures, with the unemployment going down to 6.9%, what are the trends that you noticing? Do you think this is sustainable? Will we keep seeing more employment in the UK?
Yeah, I think unemployment dropping down to 6.9% was good news. We certainly predicted our figures that we've been looking at in Reporting Jobs and Jobs Outlook indicated that employment was growing, and it's at now record levels, and that unemployment would fall over the next sort of 6 months, perhaps to over the next year. There are still pockets within the unemployment figures, long-term unemployment and youth unemployment, that we think is unacceptably high. But the good news is more people are working in the UK than ever before, and the employers are getting more confident and hiring more people. So at the moment, you've got to say that the jobs market in the UK is performing incredibly well.
And on the point that you mentioned there, youth unemployment, with it being more than 19% at the rate and more than 800,000 young people out of work, what do you think recruiters or maybe employers can do more to help the 16 to 24-year-olds out?
They can. I mean, we've launched something in the last few weeks called the Good Recruitment campaign, and within that there's a Good Recruitment charter that we're encouraging employers to sign up to. It's absolutely clear that if young people have a period of unemployment early in their career, they're likely to have repeat periods of unemployment. So we've got a huge amount of potential that as an economy we need to get into employment as early as possible. And to do that, you know, the overall trend is good. Employers becoming more confident, taking more people on. And as they become more confident, they're likely to start hiring for potential again rather than experience, which has tended to be the issue over the sort of last couple of years, that employers have been hiring people that are already experienced. So we think that unemployment and youth unemployment will fall. Government could do more, certainly in terms of apprenticeships, and certainly really looking at the subjects that young people study at schools and universities, because we do have skill shortages within our economy. So we've got this real paradox of having young, high youth unemployment, but at the same time employers saying they're struggling to find people to do particular jobs.
So you would like a more flexible visa system?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the government's gone, it plays very well politically at the moment, and immigration is certainly going to be one of the big issues in the general election campaign. But in reality, in terms of business, you want a global labour market. You want businesses to be able to find the skills they need. Otherwise, we're going to constrain growth, and we're going to limit the success of our businesses because they're not going to get the skills and capability they need to compete and win in today's global labour market.
And then going back to the rise in employment, one of the criticisms, particularly from the TUC, is that there's a lot more self-employment, there's a lot more low-paid work, a lot more flexible work. What do you say to the zero-hour contracts argument that there shouldn't be so many employers hiring people on these flexible contracts?
Well, I think the first thing you've got to remember is that we've got record employment, and unemployment, even in the worst recession we've had in living memory, we think that we kept 1 million people in work. All the economic forecasters were saying that unemployment will get to 3.5 million. It only got to 2.5 million, and the reason for that is our flexible labour market. So I think the first thing we need to do is recognise that a flexible labour market keeps people in employment and make sure that they are, they're earning a living and they're contributing. Secondly, as we sort of look forward, it's clear that employers need to keep flexibility. They need to be able to make sure that they match their workforce to their workload. So they've got flexibility, whether that's peaks and troughs and Saturday opening and whatever. So, and that's important for businesses so that they remain competitive for the economy to succeed. So, we need to be clear that flexibility works for employers. It also works for the vast majority of people that work this way. So the CIPD did a survey of people on zero-hour contracts recently, and that identified that they were more satisfied with their work than people that were in part-time or full-time work. So I think we need to be very careful not to generalise and demonise zero-hour contracts. In most instances, they work for both the individuals and employers. There are examples of employers not using them effectively, but that's not the contract, that's just poor management and leadership. So there's nothing inherently wrong with zero-hour contracts, it's just that some employers don't use them effectively.
George Osborne recently came out and said that he wants a future Conservative government to have full employment in the UK. How feasible do you think that would be?
I think it's admirable. We should be, as an economy and as a mature economy, always aiming for full employment. and to get as many people into work as we possibly can, because it's good news for them. That's the first thing. Secondly, it's good news as taxpayers because we get more tax take, and we are then creating an economy which is vibrant and successful. So I think it's a good aspiration. I think it's always about what's your definition of full employment. And if you talk to labour market economists, they'll all say, some people say it's 2%, 3%, other people say it's 5%. So it depends what definition you use. But it is the right sort of ambition for a government to have. But it also needs to be, making sure that we also get, employers behaving in the right way. And recruiters have got a big role to play in helping employers recruit the talent skills they need to succeed and win.
So in your definition of full employment, do you think it's a sound proposition that they could get it?
Yeah, I think it is possible.
Yeah.
And it is a sort of target, an aspirational target that any future government should think seriously about, because what you don't want to do is have lots of people not in work and not contributing, because it's not good news for the country, but more important, it's not good news for those individuals. Hence the work we've done with the Youth Employment Charter, encouraging recruiters and employers to get involved in taking on young people, because we know it's really, we've got to maximise the potential we have within our labour market, and what you don't want is lots of wasted talent, people sat at home watching daytime TV rather than contributing and developing their own careers and paying taxes, which benefits everybody.
Great, thanks very much.